If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America.
Into the silo.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Hey, welcome to the Sackheads Radio Show, live on the SHR Media Network. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Test. What? Test?
Say it again.
Isn't this the part we're supposed to do the test?
Yeah. So,
Let me know when we're live.
no, you're good.
Okay.
You're going to nail it here any second now. I feel it. I am trying out something new tonight because I keep making that mistake.
Oh, is this the thing that came from Adam and Eve?
No, not that thing.
Oh!
But I'm glad you brought that up because
Thank you.
the next time I have to pay a COD for you, I'm going to be angry.
Hang on a second. That clearly wasn't from me, and they misspelled Sarkis Thessalian wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Sorry. They did just put Sacco on it. I think that's pretty right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. So,
But you opened it up.
I'm figuring we've been screwing around with the whole idea of doing like video cast with this show. Just because we're morons. And Dave thought it was, Agador thought it was Fredericks of Hollywood. We don't have that much money.
Yeah, no, that's real expensive. This was Adam and Eve. You get 3 free DVDs when you order. It was
Well,
some
yeah,
big thing.
doy.
I mean, Sacco said.
Sacco said...
Look, guys, one for each of us.
So, anywho, we're going to try out this whole Google Hangout thing. I've seen other people try it. Jersey Joe's kind of really...
Google Hangout?
Yeah.
That sounds so nice.
I know, it does sound nice. Jersey Joe uses it, and it works awesome. The stuff that he actually has, he's got like a
Why
green
did you just
screen.
take the decoration off the wall?
I don't know. Because I'll have to answer questions for it in a little bit.
Why'd you put the evidence in the car?
But Daddy, put the evidence in the car.
Put the evidence in the back.
Anywho, so the link, if you go to shrmedia.com, on the post, it should have a link that shows us live.
Shows who live?
Well, half of us anyhow, because we only have one camera. Like I said, we're just trying this out. And I'm not going to go out and spend money on cameras.
Well, that's good. One less thing.
For people to see. Now, so what everyone is seeing is my delightfully bald head.
Uh-huh. Which one?
That's semi-sunburned. And, yeah. Sorry about that. You're stuck with it. The hell with it. If it works, then maybe we'll expand a little bit. But I want to try all this stuff out before Freedom Fest. And that way, when we're ready for Freedom Fest, if we have a couple video cameras going, we wanted to try it last year. We ran out of prep time because Freedom Fest came up on us pretty quick. This is a good way to get it going. So we're pretty excited about it.
We're very excited about it.
I'm more excited that you, the listeners, are here at shrmedia.com and listen to the Sackheads Radio Show. It is now the 6th of April. A couple days into this baseball season.
It is.
Sox won their opener. The first night was actually delayed due to snow in Cleveland.
Well, because why wouldn't you have snow in baseball season?
Well, why not? And then and then won their first one. Dropped today, 7-6. It was a tight one, but
I don't want to hear of it. Oakland's dropped their last two, both one-run games. It's starting to feel like last season.
the end of last season.
All of last season.
Yeah, last season wasn't your best season.
And it was all one-run games.
Yeah.
Where the year before they crushed one-run games. Now, again, continuation last year, Oakland A's have lost two. However, Mark Canha just hit a solo shot, bottom of the second, so
We'll see.
we'll see.
I've already, Golf Dogs in the chat room said he won't watch the video of us, and I don't blame him. I don't want to watch it. It's sitting here in front of me,
Uh-huh.
and I really don't want to watch it. I am not an attractive
That's
person.
fine. There are plenty of other people who watch our video.
I'm not a good-looking person. I'm the first one to admit it. I am, though, drinking what has to be one of the best root beers I've had.
Yes. Yes.
Old Rhode Island
Uh-huh.
molasses root beer.
Yeah.
I'll even show it to the camera. It's backwards. How did they get it backwards? Oh, right, because it mirrors. Getcha. But it's a very basic bottle.
Yeah, no, hang on. Let me see. Yeah, no, it's backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards.
At least it's not sideways.
It's produced by a company called Empire Bottling Works in Bristol, Rhode Island. And there's like 7 ingredients in the whole thing. Believe it or not, molasses
Root.
is one of them.
Beer
And molasses.
and molasses.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. But if you have a chance, it's pretty damn good. Suggestion in the chat room. Try some Moxie. Now,
Is that a root beer also?
no, you've never had Moxie?
No.
No. Oh God, Moxie was a drink that was huge through I think like from the 40s
Is
and
it made with whiskey?
to the 70s. It was a cheap soda. It was.
Is it like
horrible.
Stars and Stripes?
No, it was worse than that.
What?
It had the strangest. Joe, she's more than welcome to. It had the strangest flavor to it. I thought it was horrible. It used to be everywhere, though. It was an orange can. It was like a picture of like a 1940s guy smoking a cigarette. The thing. It was just called Moxie, and it was absolutely terrible.
What was it, like a dime a drink?
Yeah, it was cheap as all hell, and it was just. And I can remember growing up. It's funny. My father had a friend whose name was Reno, and he used to drink it all the time. That was like his go-to drink.
Wait, was it Reno? Was he from Vegas?
No, no, that would be irony. I'm trying to pull up Moxie.
There was Dallas. He was from Pittsburgh.
DrinkMoxie.com. They still have a website. I guess they still make it. And it's there. They're on Facebook, Twitter. So Moxie Beverage. I thought it was horrible. I can't believe they're still around. Actually, the picture, I got it wrong. The picture on the front of the bright orange can was not a guy smoking a cigarette. It was like a doctor pointing to you, telling you to pretty much drink Moxie, which is just awesome because it's almost as good as like the old cigarette ads where 9 out of the 10 doctors choose Chesterfields for that smooth smoke.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we got going on here. I'm pretty proud of it. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Huh.
Huh.
Well, we have to have a moment of silence. Merle Haggard died.
Mm-hmm. Tell everyone who Merle Haggard is.
If I have to tell anybody who Merle Haggard is, they should not be listening to this show.
Did you hear the?
Nor should they should ever fly any kind of American flag. Merle Haggard, country music star. This is Merle Haggard, my friend.
Despite all my tried. Dear old daddy, rest his soul, left my mom a heavy load. She tried so very hard to fill his shoes, working hours without rest, wanted me to have the best. She tried to raise me right, but I refused. I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. One could steer me right, but Mama tried to raise me better. But her pleading I denied. That leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried.
So Merle Haggard, dead on his 79th birthday. I'm a huge Merle Haggard fan. That was, of course, "Mama Tried," one of the songs he's best known for. "Okie from Muskogee."
He got weird near the end, though, with some of the songs he released. Wasn't this one of his? Hold on.
No, that wasn't.
No, that wasn't.
No, that was not.
I just
that
saw
was
later in life.
Yeah, no, that guy is Haggard.
What?
Yeah, no, that's not Merle Haggard. That guy is Haggard. There's a difference.
Well,
Merle Haggard. He was born in California, outside of Bakersfield, 1937. He was raised in a converted boxcar, which was the only home that his family could afford. He did do a prison stint in San Quentin, kind of like Johnny Cash. And he said music really was his only opportunity out of poverty, and that's what he did. He was able to make more money, he said during an interview to the Associated Press that he did back in 2014, where he said he could make more money in a beer joint, as he put it, than he did when he was digging ditches. So he was a great guitarist, fiddler. Wrote several songs, as well as obviously a big Country Music Hall of Fame member and singer. So he'll be missed. I'm again love Merle Haggard, and then if any of you who enjoy old school country music, Merle Haggard will be missed.
All right. Well,
and I'm not going to be a jerk about it either and play some Haggard 18-year-old doing a freestyle.
You know why? There's two reasons why I know who the hell Merle Haggard is. I'm not going to lie.
Go.
One is you.
Right.
Two is my wife. That's it.
The two people that have class in your life.
What?
And Big Fat Paulie. Big Fat Paulie knows Merle Haggard also.
Merle Haggard as well.
And T.
And T-Bone. So you're saying is other people in my life don't have class, like Ken. I see how it is.
Well, you're a racist and don't like Ken,
Wait,
so
what?
I consider Ken in my life. Ken, I apologize
All right.
Why he would assume that I would be referring to the gentleman of darker tinted skin complexion when I say that
horrible. Why do you go that way?
That is horrible of you.
Horrible.
He is an exceptional man, hence the name.
Ken, I'm sorry that he has to always make it about race with you in the room. It's bizarre.
Ken, you know that's not the case.
Anyhow.
With you.
What else you got going on this week? How about something upbeat? Because you brought us down with the whole Merle Haggard death.
I have something upbeat.
You do?
I do. So I saw this story. So in Marin County, California, if you enjoy mountain biking, you might get a speeding ticket.
Yes, you might.
So,
welcome back to California, baby.
Welcome to California, and it will go on your driving record. So Mount Tamalpais is a mountain in Marin County.
Yep.
In California, which is just north of San Francisco, north of the Golden Gate Bridge. And it is a state park, Mount Tamalpais State Park. However, there is a county-run park I think it's Blythedale Summit, which is a county park, and they have mountain biking trails and so forth, as they do in the state park. Now, I saw this story, and rangers. Now for the government side of the story, the Marin County Parks is issuing the statement. So I have to assume that this is taking place in the Blythedale Summit area of Mount Tamalpais and not in the state park.
Right.
And again, I say that because the statement is coming from Marin County Parks.
I kind of want to give everyone a little background on Marin, because for people outside California,
They have no idea.
Right. So
Right.
Marin is just north of San Francisco.
Which should tell you how batshit crazy it is.
Extremely rich area.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the only low-income area that they had in the Marin County at all was a group of high-rise buildings that were originally built for dock workers in World War II that was turned into low-income housing.
Marin City, I think, right?
It was called Marin City, that's right. And we both had a mutual friend who was a police officer down there years ago.
Yep.
And the city, I kid you not, the uber liberals, we love everybody in Marin County, was so afraid of everything that was moving in
Right.
that they had them destroyed. Where have you ever seen in this world low-income high-rises that were able to be taken down and not replaced with something like, or especially
Right.
in the day of, we see it all over the place. They want to put Section 8
And for low-income housing.
Yes. Yes. Low-income government-assisted housing. It was taken down. Bulldozed. Where have you ever seen that before?
In a conservative... Oh, yeah. No,
No,
they don't
not
do
even
that.
there. If you don't want low... And this is the big push right now, not to go too far from the story, but I think, I want to say something from the White House this week was talking about integrating low-income housing and affluent
Not in Marin.
neighborhoods. Not in Marin. Not in Marin. So that's Marin County, and you have people like Sammy Hagar lives in Marin County. Like, there's a lot of musicians that live there. Some great, some not, in my opinion, as people. Robin Williams, his house was in Marin County, and Tiburon, and so there was definitely a lot of there's a lot of rich money there.
There's a lot of money there.
Yeah.
And so apparently there's and they're not just going to use radar on these bicycle mountain bike trails, folks.
Only in friggin' California.
These are bicycle mountain bike trails. And they have a 15 mile per hour speed limit. Now, I have been on these trails. I have mountain biked on these trails, and there are some parts of these trails that you can get going pretty good.
Yeah, there's some pretty steep downhills.
Yeah, you can get 20, 25 miles per hour.
And there's some nice
no problem on some of these.
If you
parts.
look at it like a ski slope, it's almost like a blue diamond, right? Where it's a nice. There's a little bit of terrain, but it's a nice long.
Look, it goes up
ride.
through the forest area.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff like that.
beautiful.
It's a
beautiful
beautiful
area.
ride. So anyways, the county parks officials are saying that speeding bikes could put hikers and horseback riders at risk. Now, in the same breath, they say, well, these incidents actually don't happen very often. But they're going to put rangers out there with not just radar guns, LiDAR guns.
Right, which are
Here's the difference
significantly more
between
expensive.
Here's the difference between radar and LiDAR. I researched this article, folks. So a radar gun will put out a cone and capture whatever is in that cone. So if there's
It's like a dragnet.
So if there's two bicyclists coming at you, you're going to get a reading of the higher speed. You may not be able to tell which bicyclist it is on this heinous crime.
Heinous.
Whereas LiDAR is target specific. So you could put that LiDAR on a particular incident, on a particular bicyclist or on a particular car if they're trying to catch cars or whatever, and it would catch that particular vehicle or that particular bicyclist. So they're going to be using LiDAR to catch these ridiculous...
And now let's talk about the cost of LiDAR.
Hang on a second. I'm not done. Now, I was thinking how ridiculous this is because I thought originally it was the state park that they were talking about. So first of all, hang on a second. There's no way a state park ranger is going to want to engage in this type of activity. And since it's a state park, a state agency, the state police,
if you will,
is in California. It's the Highway Patrol. And anybody who has seen Chips knows that they do everything from hang gliding to roller skating to hanging out on the beaches and riding motorcycles.
Right.
Like that's what the Highway Patrol folks do.
Right.
So I'm thinking, well, God, is the Highway Patrol actually going to do they have nothing better to do than to put, I guess they have bicycle officers. Are they going to put a bicycle officer out there with lights? Like, what are you going to do? And then I saw that all of the statements were coming from the county, which means they're going to have county park rangers doing this. Are they armed? What is a Marin County Park Ranger going to... What do they do?
Well, and here's something that I find pretty funny because somebody
do they know how to ride a bicycle?
The chat room's giving many suggestions.
I'd love to hear them.
Everything from side scanning sonar,
okay,
giant hovercraft. I suggested maybe like a radar, or like a plane.
Like a drone?
Like a drone or something like that.
Ooh, they need a patrolled by aircraft sign.
Right. That would be huge. But then it dawned on me, because I think it was Ag that said, leave it to the libs to spend huge cash on ridiculous shit like this.
Yes.
I agree, but understand their logic. There are parts of this state, San Francisco is one of them, where bicyclists regularly engage in illegal operation on the streets. They blow red lights, they run people down, all these other things, right? And it happens all the time.
Bicyclists?
Yes.
Yes, but then...
Wait, just hear me out, though. You get it in a lot of big cities in California.
Right.
When you first pitched this story, I did some research. Most vehicle codes in California can be enforced upon a bicycle.
Yes.
Okay. Why wouldn't they do this, say, in San Francisco, where people are legitimately getting screwed up? You go on videos.
Right.
There are people coming down hills at 100 miles, not 100, 50 miles an hour, clipping pedestrians, and then they keep going.
Yes.
There's no enforcement there. So why Marin? And then it hit me. Because they can afford it.
Yes.
The people in Marin County will pay those tickets. And then Marin County will actually make money off of it.
And here's the thing. It also can go on your driving record. So, I did a little research also. Now, the California Vehicle Code applies on state property.
Yes.
So if this were at the state park, then obviously the vehicle code would apply.
Right.
If this is on the county park, I don't know that the vehicle code necessarily applies unless the county is going to post it that the vehicle code applies, or they're going to make their own county code, which they might already have,
right,
and then issue citations for the county code. But if it's on the county code, then it shouldn't go on the DMV record. And since the story I read says it's going to go on the DMV record,
they must be adopting the state
They
code.
must be adopting the vehicle code.
Right, and they must be putting signs up.
Which takes me back to, is this then in state parks? And if so, why the hell is the Marin County State Parks doing anything in the state park?
Because there's money to be made.
But they don't have the authority to enforce in there.
Oh, well, you worry about little things like authority, constitution, legality.
I guess they have
they
have the authority if they're rangers or peace officers.
Right.
But if it's Marin County enforcing in the state park, why isn't the state telling the county to get the f*** out of here? The state doesn't get any money from those tickets.
No. The amount of money that the county of Marin pays to the state via all their residences that have taxes and all this other thing.
Yeah, but if the state says, get the hell out of here, you're not going to enforce a speed limit on our... The residents would love
but you're
that.
in California, run by Democrats. Watch how quickly the state assembly and the Senate passes a bill to turn into law that counties can then choose if they wish to apply state law or not.
Well, they can,
you know what
right?
I mean,
yeah.
But you know what I mean.
But the sheriff's department, they can enforce things on state property, but
yeah, but
so I don't know. I don't know which way it is. It's either the county is enforcing things in the state park, or they're actually going to be in that Blythedale Summit region and enforcing something that I don't know. It's just ridiculous to me. It's asinine. Can you imagine explaining that? Why'd your car insurance go up? Speeding ticket. Oh, speeding ticket. What I was on a 2012 Cannondale. Wait.
Yeah, I was flying. I was doing 32 and a 15.
Wait.
You
on
got
a
stopped
Cannondale?
for that? Yeah, well, I was on a bicycle.
There's no license plate on. Does that mean if you get into a crash on this trail that they actually have a specific vehicle code section that's violated, and they do a whole crash report? And if that's the case, and they're worried about pedestrians and equines, horses, do they also cite horses that are exceeding the 15-mile-per-hour trail speed limit?
But look now, you're missing this because what's coming next? Everyone's going to have to register their bike, and there's going to be bike registration fees, and it'll be mandatory, say, over the age of 25 and have a college degree. And live in Marin County. You will then need to... No, I could see...
No, over the age of... Listen, why should that little kid on a radio flyer not be registered? What if that little maniac is riding his big wheel down the sidewalk... Like a madman! Just completely out of sorts, all willy-nilly, and he hits a trash can.
Dogs and cats.
And that trash can gets knocked over, and there's a piece of litter that falls in the street, and a candy wrapper goes down a storm drain. We have to be able to get that little bastard for environmental crimes, Sean. Over 25.
But that's all this is. This is all about making money. This isn't about keeping anyone safe.
This is about safety. Do you know why it's about safety?
If people in the Bay Area gave a shit about safety, they'd be across the bridge in Richmond. They'd be in Oakland. They'd be in other places trying to make it legitimately safer. This is all about making a couple bucks.
Obviously.
Where they know, and here's the thing, they know these people aren't going to default on these tickets.
Even the parks guy says, we've had a few incidents of collisions between bike riders and pedestrians.
What city hasn't?
Hang on. But those incidents are relatively rare when compared with the high level of use occurring on our trails. Well, then what the fuck?
So you're saying...
If it's rare... Then why the hell do you need to go do anything about it?
Stop.
Are you trying to justify your position, you frickin' douchebag?
You're trying to do logic where it doesn't apply.
That's the problem. This guy's name is Corton. The frickin' guy heard a who. You need radar. Was that the name?
Corton.
Jesus, come on.
I love that that's the culmination of this whole thing. His name is Corton. What an asshole.
Thank you. Jesus, sounds like a freaking Dr. Seuss character.
Oh, we're up against a break, my friend.
The brother of Horton.
The brother. His name's Corton. What the hell names their kid that? And why would you employ a guy named Corton?
We need to mark this clip for a commercial.
His name is Corton.
When we come back, we're going to talk about more stuff.
Right here on the Sackheads Radio Show, live on the SHR Media Network.
Corton.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying calf was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show live in the SHR Media Network. Thank you for all the kind words about the video. There's something I did learn in that first 30 minutes tonight. If you want to piss off Clint, you could do one of two things. Try to obstruct people's freedoms.
Right.
Government in large, doesn't matter how.
Right.
Or name your child Corton, apparently.
It's this douchebag's last name. Seriously, with a name like that, that tells you everything you need to know about him, right?
Oh, man. So, speaking of libs who love everybody.
Lib lovers.
Rapper Azealia Banks. Have you heard about this? Well, this is... the article, and this is from redflagnews.com. You know, and I guess it was originally from Breitbart. You know how Azealia Banks isn't a big conservative fan? You know that. Everyone knows that.
No, huge fan. Loves this show,
She's
actually.
also not a fan of Sarah Palin because she is such a conservative woman. The title of the article is Rapper Azealia Banks calls for Sarah Palin to be gang raped by black men. Pretty liberal and tolerant of other people's ideas, I guess.
Absolutely.
She has since deleted the tweets, but the tweets from the 24-year-old Harlem-born rapper suggested Palin should be forced to perform oral sex on a group of black men and that the incident should be filmed and uploaded to the internet. Some of the screenshots, and I'm going to, even on this show, I'm going to edit some of these words because it's pretty horrible. This is from her official... and I don't know how old this story is. I just saw this drop across today. Somebody says this is an older story. I don't honestly know. I just saw this for the first time.
Hey, if it's an older story, who cares? Sit
Right.
back and enjoy the show.
On her Twitter. On her Twitter.
On her Twitter. That's
Dude,
something I'd say.
Dude, do you remember when cars needed to have tweeters in them?
Yes.
When was the last time you heard that word?
Just now.
Exactly. Azealia Banks tweeted, Sarah Palin needs to have her hair shaved off to a buzz cut, then get head effed by a big, veiny, ashy black D, then be locked in a cupboard. I think it's so funny that somebody who can use this language that she just used
Uh-huh.
would use the word cupboard at the end and not cabinet.
Right.
Like, that just seems like a very...
Or closet. And why does it have to be veiny?
I can't even repeat what Ken just said.
Do it.
No! I can't.
Do it.
He asks where the line starts.
Wait, to take it?
I don't know.
Wait, hang on a sec, Ken. No, let's get to the bottom of this.
No.
To take it or to give it?
We're moving on.
Because those are two completely different things.
We're moving on.
No. I want to get to the bottom of this.
No, her next tweet was hideous. At least S ends D or something before you start talking shit about black people willing to accept slavery. It's the least she can do. Honestly, let's find the biggest, burliest black Negroes and let them run a train on her, film it, and put it on World Star. Banks appeared to be responding to a satirical argument from Newslo that jokingly quoted Palin's telling an Alaska newspaper, remember this was satire, and she didn't actually say this, that black people accepted slavery willingly and that the Negroes loved being slaves and they were just doing just fine under our rules. So this other newspaper that misquoted or jokingly quoted Sarah Palin is like the Onion, Newslo.
Right.
It doesn't exist. I mean,
It
the
exists.
newspaper exists, but the story isn't real.
Right.
And then this dingbat, Azalea Banks, who's a rapper who gets paid to entertain people, responds like she actually said it with these hellacious tweets that she eventually deleted.
Because somebody probably went up to her and said, "Hey, dumbass."
I'm sure that her publicist said,
"Hey, dumbass."
Hey, dumbass. If you want to make money, and if you ever want a white person to go to your show again, you may want to get rid of these. But that is the tolerant left. And when I say that, she is the young age group that the Democrats got to elect Obama the first and second time. That demographic, that 18 to 26 liberal, anyone who doesn't agree with you is your enemy, very Alinsky-like approach to politics.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what it creates. This is what is fostered in that. And we saw the video that came out last week of the girl at the Trump rally that punched a guy, got pepper sprayed, and then claimed that she was sexually assaulted, which the police said did not happen.
Right.
And actually, she's being charged with disorderly conduct as a result. 15-year-old girl punches a grown man in the face and then gets mad
when
that
he
she gets
sprays
pepper
her.
sprayed.
Right.
This is that mindset. This is that Alinsky-esque way that the Dems are really starting to go about it. And when you see,
trade in your fist for a suit, right? Something like that. Yeah.
Right, and that's exactly it. And then when these folks who think that they're doing the right thing, however misguided or wrong or evil it may be, you get somebody like Azalea Banks who has millions of young people following her.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time, even if she really felt that way, when we talk about...
Which she probably does.
Yeah, she absolutely does. Hey, if it's on Twitter, it's real.
Doy.
We talk about raising your children and not letting other people raise your children, including television, media, etc. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And we've spoke about this before, is being the influence for your children. And don't let them be involved, follow, or understand idiots like this, Azalea Banks, who just because she's a musician, she thinks that it's that she's the most important thing going.
Look, you know what? I take it when we first started doing this show.
All those years ago,
before we were salty. When we
way
first
back when it was only 128K.
When we first started doing this show, we've always been conservative. We are an opinion show. We do news. We give our opinion.
Yep.
We try to be fair.
Yep.
And we don't agree on absolutely everything.
No.
But we do try and be fair. There are times we've given the left credit on certain things, whatever. That's cool. But we are conservative in some areas, but we're also very libertarian in other areas, social areas. We've said it. I don't know how many times. Hey, If somebody, whatever they want to do behind closed doors, their bedroom, their love life, whatever it is, we don't care.
As long as it's not affecting other people.
Yeah. You have the freedom and the liberty to do whatever you want. And it's not government's job to define
anything.
Not
Right.
government's job to define what a marriage is or to issue marriage licenses or to be involved in the marriage industry at all. For example, hey, if a church wants to recognize a marriage, fine. Everything else should be a civil union, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same-sex couple, opposite-sex couple, doesn't matter. If you get married in a church, call it a marriage. If a church wants to acknowledge a same-sex couple and have a ceremony, call it a marriage. Issue a marriage license. Who cares?
Right.
Honestly, who freaking cares? But if you don't believe in that and you want to just have a union and really that's what modern-day marriage is, right? It's a freaking legal contract.
Right.
Then call it a union and be done with it. Either way.
And the problem is we've allowed marriage to become a business contract.
Right.
And that's become the focal point over what it's supposed to be.
Right. And that's the ridiculousness of the whole gay marriage argument.
Right.
Right. A marriage in this day and age is a business contract recognized by the state.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a religious union. And if that's the case, then that's why I say, hey, have legislation that anybody that gets married in a church, doesn't matter. Male, male, female, female, male, female, call it a marriage, issue a marriage license.
Right.
Fine. If not, and the state wants to sanctify it and not a religious institution, then call it a civil union, because really that's what it is. You're taking that whole thing out of it. Anyways, I'm digressing right now. But we've been pretty straightforward about the government staying out of people's business. If you want to smoke weed in your own living room and you don't have kids running around and you're not going to go out and drive or who gives a shit? Have at it. Mm-hmm. That's your thing. Don't go out of the house. Don't be a knucklehead, right? Have a job. Maybe don't, we all know there's psychological
If you want to drink an
addiction.
entire bottle of Booker's on St. Patrick's Day, nobody should be judging you for it.
Right. And we don't. If you want to do a radio show and have a bourbon barrel stout from Deschutes 2015 reserve, then you should be able to do it.
But then you're affecting somebody else.
This is not true. You sit over there and hush. Not my fault you got to drive somewhere afterwards.
It's so weird that you picked the studio that you live a block and a half from.
Listen, I do not live a block and a half from the studio.
All right, fine, 9 blocks, but still.
But close enough. Close enough. Anyways, so it's interesting. So we always thought, hey, we're pretty libertarian in our views. We should be good, right? We're tolerant of other people's views, whether we agree with them or disagree with them. Each other, sometimes we disagree. It is amazing to me how many people we have had just completely try and talk shit because we can eviscerate somebody verbally pretty easily, like candidates, but out of Florida. What?
Go on.
But it surprises me how intolerant people are, even of First Amendment media speech.
Yes.
Which they claim to support.
Yes.
Because we say something that they disagree with.
Yes. Well, and the prime example of this is how many death threats have we had just from doing the show? Because we dare oppose the left or the mainstream media.
Right, and I want to say something else.
Quo.
If you're freaking stupid enough to issue a death threat to us, first of all, bring a lunch. Because it's going to be a long day for you.
Well, I may not be as good as I once was, but I can be good once as I ever was. Right. Isn't that how the song goes?
Yes.
Well, and I remember I gave a guy a date, time, and address one day a long time ago.
I remember that.
We got a death threat via email, and I said, dude, and he wasn't far from where we are.
I remember that.
And he was so adamant about how many ways he was going to kill me that I gave him the date, time, location. He knew what he looked like because my face is all over social media.
I remember that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I went. Never showed up.
Well, I mean, I was also about 100 yards away.
Doesn't
with the
matter.
scope right. But it doesn't matter.
It's
You
not
went.
how I win. It's that I win.
Right.
What did Patton say? May God have mercy on my enemies because I won't.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly.
And we honestly we're very tolerant. We may get upset and we may disagree and we may disagree in a heated manner, but we will never try and silence speech.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people to shut up.
Right.
I want everybody to talk and express their view. Number one, because I want everybody to know what an a-hole you are.
Right.
And everybody should know what an a-hole I am.
A huge a-hole.
Right?
Huge.
I'm okay. Think about how much better our society would be if everybody knew exactly where everybody stood.
Right. Well, and
hey, I think you're completely wrong, and you're a batshit crazy
you look
broad.
At political correctness.
Hang on,
right?
I just said broad. I want to make sure I get that. I always get hate mail after I say broad, so I want to make sure everybody understands. I
From
just
your own
used
mother.
the term broad. Some batshit crazy broad says something stupid. There, that should generate.
Yeah, but you look at what political correctness in this country is, right? They can't outlaw the First Amendment, at least when political correctness started. They couldn't outlaw First Amendment. They couldn't limit speech. So what did they start doing? They started shaming people for
Yes.
using terms they
Yes.
disagreed with.
Yes.
And now it is more acceptable to tell somebody they can't say a word than to have somebody express how they truly feel.
Did you know you can't say the word midget?
You're kidding me.
No.
Why? Do they get all short about it?
I don't know. Is it too much like widget, which is like
Come
a
on,
non-existent item?
That was good.
That was good. They get all uppity?
What do you say now? Dwarf?
No. Like little person.
No, a little person is somebody who acts like a jerk.
Look, I'm telling you, I was called on this the other day. You cannot say midget. You're supposed to say elf? Leprechaun? What? I don't know. You can't say retard either. Did you know that?
I knew you couldn't say retard.
But it's a medical term.
I actually got scolded.
I remember that too. You've been scolded for using that term in front of me also.
A lot of people. And the hard part is where I come from, it's a completely acceptable term. Like, hey, that's retarded.
Right.
It's not making fun of somebody with special needs. It just means that's stupid.
They're not special needs.
Well, what are they now?
No, they are special needs. But
right.
why is it special? What, because somebody's retarded and they need something that's special? That's not special. Extra needs? Why don't we call them extra needs?
What are they?
I like that term.
Kel Fritzy just brought up a really... I know, I want to get back to it. I will write it down, extra needs, right now. But this is an important question, and it's on something that you said.
What's the question?
Hold on, I'm writing it down.
Extra needs.
So she said, I missed dwarf tossing competitions at the old fair. Now, what would we name this now? Because you can't call them dwarfs, so is it little people tossing?
Okay, I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
We name them salad. Hear me out on this.
I'm more angry it took me that long. It took me a good 5 seconds to get that. Ken says, my wife calls me a little person. I won't be so mad because I don't think she's referring to my height. Now,
Ken, you're black. That's not true.
Mini human tossing. Little person chucking. Nickname them salad. It's horrible.
I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I'm going down to the county salad tossing competition. I'm entering this year. I'm a contestant.
Yeah, I'm gonna
best salad tosser in the county. It's amazing.
I'm gonna go down like my ancestors did and toss salad something fierce. Goes back hundreds of years.
You're a long line of salad tossers. You can see it's right there in my resume. 2014 salad tossing champion. Those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Google salad tossing.
No!
Safe
no,
search
no.
off.
You're such a jerk.
I want everybody to understand exactly what it is we're talking about and why this is so funny.
So that was my whole...
That was my whole. We're talking about salad tossing. Really? That's what you come up with?
Putting these on. I'm afraid people are going to see my tears start flowing here soon. It's so damn funny. Oh, what do you got for this segment? Because we only have a little time left.
I don't know. That was hilarious, though. I love that entire segment. So there's a college in Arizona.
Yes.
Speaking of jackasses, that is charging students an annual fee of $30, and this it's Prescott College. This $30 annual fee is in addition to their $28,000 annual tuition, and it is to fund scholarships.
Yep,
which is usually a good thing. The scholarships.
I hope it's for.
Hang on a second. No, it's not for retarded people. Nope, not for midgets. No, not for low-income individuals. Per se. This is for criminal alien students.
Well, thank God we're finally taking care of those folk.
Yeah. So this policy was first introduced by students and faculty from the undergraduate and You ready? The Social Justice and Human Rights Master of Arts divisions.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Dude, I had corned beef for dinner. Why would you even say those words? Oh.
Social Justice and Human Rights Master of Arts divisions. Why is a college have a program? I thought college was for learning. I thought college was for critical thinking, free debate, right? Expanding of the minds and actually having a forum with which to explore ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Social Justice and Human Rights, Master of Arts Division. So you can get a master's degree, Masters of Arts, an MA, in Social Justice and Human Rights. Now, if you're unfamiliar with social justice is and no, I'm not being extreme or anything like that. It is a communist, socialist viewpoint that every playing field is equal. Everybody is equal in every single way in things, not opportunity. Not equal opportunity, equal results. And that's the big difference here, right? Most conservatives, we believe in equality of opportunity.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same opportunity. Everybody should have the same opportunities.
Everyone's free to make their own
right?
choices.
And not same opportunities in terms of, you had the opportunity to go to school in this location and somebody has that. No, we're not going to fly kids into different areas to go to different school, but everybody has equal opportunity in terms of, hey, two people apply for the job. Everybody has the opportunity to go for that same job.
2 men enter,
right?
1 man leave. There can be only one.
Right. But not equal results. I'm sorry, if you don't put the work in and you don't make grades, you don't get the same grade as everybody else.
I'm sorry. Just some of the chat's awesome. SHRmedia.com. Click on the thing that says live chat. Oh, God.
So the school president, no, you're going to have to unmute yourself for this. The school president says, quote, "I'm proud that our students take on the role of scholar activists. The university is committed to, quote, broaden access to higher education for a diverse group of students and, quote, mobilize its resources towards social justice." This is the school president. Not mobilize the resources towards...
I know I'm on video right now.
Yeah. Not you playing a fiddle? Not mobilizing the resources towards better education. Not mobilizing resources towards critical thinking or open debate, but towards social justice. This douchebag's last name is Flicker. That should tell you everything you need to know about this cocksucker, too.
Flicker.
I just said cocksucker on radio.
Yes, you did.
Just so you know. I just got my...
Well, maybe Flicker enjoys...
That might be a first.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure that was it.
Pretty sure that's a first for us.
Where's the whole jump the shark button? I can't find that.
Jump the shark.
Because we may have just done that. How does this work? Yeah. No, don't have it. Oh, man. Listen, we all know...
So, well, hang on a second. So if they're here criminally, and they're allowing them to go to school there, should the federal government not get involved?
Does that school get...
It's a private university.
Any funding whatsoever?
They're private. I don't know about whatsoever. They might.
I'm just curious. And here's why. Because if we had some... And, oh God, this drives me crazy only because I know I'm barking up the wrong tree with this. But if we had somebody with a set of balls in the White House and this was going on and that school's getting federal money.
Michelle Obama's not going to do anything.
And you went there. Good. Good.
I just meant because she has the presidents in her purse.
No, I totally understand it. I totally understand. Yeah.
Look, now this is such a liberal program. Aren't the libtards already yelling and screaming about student debt?
Mm-hmm.
Let's make them pay more. Does anybody else see the absurdity in this?
I do.
Right? Their argument is, we're paying too much for college. We're going to make them pay more. Wait, what?
What? Wait, what?
Why are we going to make them pay more? We need to fund for illegal immigrants. But you don't want them to pay anything. Yeah, but we need money.
Well, no, we want the people who have money to pay for it. We don't want the people who shouldn't be here and don't have money to be
to pay for
have to suffer, because that's just a damn shame, isn't it?
Right.
You know, when we've talked, and Sackhead Michaela wrote years ago about socialism in colleges, and this is just another example of just disgusting and blatant. Like, listen, they used to do stuff like this in backroom deals where they were like, oh, we have a $20 a semester tax on students to help pay for, unmentionables, if you will, and then you find out they were funneling money to pay for whatever.
Flickr.
But now Flickr comes out, and everyone's face goes, oh, yeah. Yeah, because we want all you liberal libtards to come to school at our school. Just so you know, when you do, you'll be helping the illegals. You'll help them get in. We'll give them an education. And even though they're not entitled to anything in this country, we'll make them more entitled. Which, you know what entitlement is, don't you, young libtard student? Because you're the most entitled son of a bitch on the face of the planet.
Right.
So you can understand why they're... I think they should take it a step further. I think all grades should be blended.
Right.
That way everyone shares equally.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
Absolute shared equal.
Absolutely. So if you have 3 people in the class that are doing A work and everybody else is doing D work, then everybody should get like a D+.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right?
I think that's the way. If you really want to be social justice, if you really want equality,
right,
you'll share your
I
grades.
say we give them all the D.
I give them all
or
the D.
Or if they're not cutting it, F them.
Yeah, we could F them too.
Right? I mean, F them all.
Right. And I don't think you'll do it in the B because they just won't. They won't get that high.
No.
So that's good.
No, but
certainly not.
Either give them the D or F them.
Right. D or F them.
Or you could always F them with a D too. What? We're up against the break. Our show.
I don't even know why.
How do this many people listen to us?
How do we go? I don't know how. Hey, before we go to break.
Yes.
You're going to get to spend 3.5 minutes with the unpleasant blind guy.
That's not very pleasant.
No time to waste. We live so fast. Make the first step. Reach out for tomorrow. We live so fast.
Time for an unpleasant blind guy. Conservative Bite. Members of minority groups can say, "We have arrived," when the larger community accepts them quietly and they can go about their daily business as equal participant members of that community. But for some in the United States of America today, that's not enough, and this is exemplified in a story posted on February the 19th, 2016, by Darian Trotter of WOAI-TV, Channel 4, San Antonio, Texas.
What about the blind? What about us?
Chris and Season like to get out and about, so when the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo kicked off last weekend, they were among the first to attend.
Overall, it was very disappointing.
Disappointing because as a blind couple, they felt the rodeo wasn't prepared to accommodate people with their specific disability.
Nobody really helped us at all.
After a loved one dropped them off, they say they were left to wander aimlessly. They expected there would be some type of guidance from staffers.
That really means a lot to a blind person.
What we would have liked would be maybe to have somebody kind of take us through and just say, okay, this is where the food is, or, this is the ponies, or whatever the case is, and then they could have left us.
Out of frustration, they eventually left. News 4 San Antonio reached out to the rodeo about their disappointing experience. A spokeswoman says the rodeo has information booths manned with volunteers who are happy to assist with directions.
How are we supposed to find the information desk if nobody is telling us that it's there?
The spokeswoman also said if someone requests a guided tour in advance, volunteers would be happy to assist.
I feel that I shouldn't give any business a warning, hey, I'm coming.
If I'm going to go to a Spurs game, would I have to call them and tell them that a blind couple is going? Or should they offer help when they see the white cane?
We'll leave alone the obvious that this couple could have done research through websites and telephone calls beforehand so that they could have been accommodated on site when they arrived at the stock show and rodeo. The larger picture that this story represents is the same as stories of students demanding safe spaces in colleges and universities, and others demanding that they be allowed to engage in any behavior that they wish to because their ancestors were once oppressed. For those who don't know, the blind are a minority in every sense of the word. Blind of the past knew slavery, government-imposed extermination, and sterilization. They knew public ridicule, and even today, the unemployment rate among the work-able blind is north of 70%. But those of us who want to be an integral part of the larger society understand that the onus is on us to be responsible for our actions and to prove through those actions that we are worthy not only of help and acceptance, but of that moment of ultimate pride when our sighted brothers and sisters will accept help from us. Others could learn from that. This has been an Unpleasant Blind Guy Conservative Fight.
We'll be back with the Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the Unpleasant Blind Guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop from a stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reverb Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show, live in the SHR Media Network on this 6th of April, 2016. Thank you for joining us. Well, are you going to do something or what? You just going to sit there and stare at the screens?
Yeah, that's what I do, Sean.
Oh, man.
What's the problem?
Nothing. Hey.
It's shameful
Whoa.
the way the media ignores the
It is shameful.
It is. It's very shameful, and I can't believe you're going to look at me that way.
Just a little tidbit as to what's going on in the world. In Chicago, 42 people last week were shot. 290 were shot. 40 homicides this past month. 778 people were shot, and 142 homicides this year alone. Just suck those numbers into your brain for a minute. Just so you know what's going on in the Democratic Society of Chicago. That's lots of gun control, tons of social programs. Literally the media ignores this hellacious thing going on. Why? Because it's run by Democrats. It's run by Democrats. It's not. It has nothing to do with who the victims are, and I'm sure on some level maybe it does. You know, maybe there are some news people who are like, oh, you know, unfortunately it's another black kid, but you know, Michelle Obama was planting trees today, so let's show that video instead. I'm sure on some level there's a cover-up just because of where it is, and there's probably a cover-up on some level because of who it is. But the reality is, it's getting worse. You have cities like Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, New York, Oakland, etc., where this stuff happens every day. And we talked about the Bay Area earlier. And people aren't outraged. And they are like demilitarized zones in some of these neighborhoods. You look at Detroit. Detroit looks like Berlin, 1944. Not in the best of shape. They're trying to turn it around. Still not in the best of shape. We talk about all those cities being run by Democrats and what a shame it is, and it truly is. But the people in those cities need to stop pussyfooting around what the issue is. And the issue truly is lack of parenting. I think is a humongous issue in those neighborhoods. And we can argue why there's lack of parenting. You know, you could say we can go all the way back to when LBJ really upped what people were getting on welfare. And I believe Ken has said it and other people have said it, he effectively took the father out of a lot of homes, specifically in black communities. And the welfare system has expanded, so you don't have the two-parent system. You don't have people today. I mean, you look at Iceland. Iceland is moving towards this system where nobody's getting married.
And here's the other part. It's about Iceland real quick, and I don't think a lot of people understand this.
Mm-hmm.
Iceland is actually I saw a report on this. It's unconfirmed, but they might have to rename it because of global warming. So I'm just
throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. So just kind of be aware. It may only be Iceland for a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
It may be like
Waterland,
Meadowland,
or
Waterworld. Yeah, Steamland,
Steamville,
something like that soon. So I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt. Global warming is it's probably the greatest risk to our civilization.
It's the greatest threat to our country.
Right.
It's
our civilization. Sean, let's not sell this short.
Not lack of parents. And, listen, I'm not necessarily saying that people should never get divorced or anything like that. But I know plenty of people who both parents are involved in their children's life, even if they're not together anymore, and they make it work. There's a lot of different ways that can work. However, the reality of the situation is the feeling in a lot of these communities by these males who are fathering children is not my problem and never get involved. And you see it more and more. And the state is almost encouraging it with all these funds and all these different programs and this, that, and the other thing. And, just the things that they teach, you don't need. How many times do you see somebody, I don't need no man? Well, why not? Because if you're a mother, wouldn't you want that other influence to help you out? Oh, well, he's no good. Okay, then why did you procreate with him? And vice versa for the fathers. His mom's no good. Why did you procreate with that? Because it was Friday night.
Do you really need me to answer that?
Because it was Friday night.
Right. Because I could.
Because I could. And that's the problem. And you get that a lot out of the left. Because I can. Because I could. There's no moral compass
Hang on a second.
that loads into it.
To be fair, you get that from a lot of guys.
I'm
regardless of age, race,
disagree.
socioeconomic status.
I don't disagree.
Right? Why did you nail her? Because I could. To be fair,
right? But the difference is a lot of other groups aren't procreating and then walking away. I know plenty of people who've had the oops moment where they're like, oh, all of a sudden I'm going to be a father. Okay, I'm going to make this work. And I'm going to try. And it's not specific to any group of people per se. It really isn't.
What, the oops moment?
Yeah. Well, no, the oops moment is not. It happens to a lot of people. But there's just people who don't take that responsibility.
Are you saying that in the African American community that there is a higher level of absentee fathers than in most other communities in our country?
In a large, yes.
Okay. Then just throw it out there. We're going to get hate mail one way or another.
But but it's not just African American. It's
not just.
It's a lot of the low income areas.
A lot of lower income areas.
And there's definitely, you have Latino low income areas, white trash low income areas, no Asians. But anyhow, that doesn't matter.
There's lower income Asian areas also.
I'm kidding. But it's sad, but it's fostered by this.
It's a breakdown. System. It's a breakdown of the family values.
Right.
Right. And the ease of divorce.
Yes.
The acceptability of being a single parent.
Yes.
It's all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And couples raising a child, having both parents in the home, is huge.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I want to expand on that a little bit too, because I know people who've lost their spouse, to accident, illness, whatever, who still do a good job of raising their children, but they continue to incorporate the values that were in the home with that spouse.
Right.
And they often reach out to family. If it's a mother, they reach out to sisters and cousins of that mother, so that relationship.
Or they have other healthy relationships that
Or they go on
the
and have
children
other
can
help.
see, and then they have that other parent that can step up and take the place in the home.
Yep.
As well.
Yep. So when you read the numbers in Chicago, everyone's like, "Oh, it's a gun problem. It's a gun problem."
It's not a freaking gun problem.
Not a gun problem. It has to do with the city and the areas themselves.
It's a
And the
violence
people.
problem.
It's a violence problem. And because there's not dad in a lot of these homes to put these kids in check, because they're not being responsible in raising their damn kids.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why schools think it's okay to raise kids? And the state thinks it's okay to raise kids? Because the single parents are pretty much asking for it. Because there's no help. And it's sad, it's pathetic, and it's only going to get worse. And it's going to take generations to fix. That's the thing when we talk about these cities that have these violence like this. It's not going to be an overnight flip of the switch by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
You and I and our listeners may not actually be alive to see the culmination if we started moving today in the right direction. It may take a few generations to get it right. And that, to me, is scary, but that should be what the goal is. You know, these kids should be able to walk to school without being afraid they're going to get shot. And I know kids who grew up in some of these neighborhoods who literally got attacked for trying to educate themselves. Carrying book bags to school, doing their homework, not hanging out and smoking weed and all this other shit. Right?
Yeah.
Because they had parents at home. They were low income, but they had parents. And their parents were trying to foster them to be a better person and take advantage of opportunities that were out there. But like somebody said in earlier in the chat room, you know, it's in the music, it's in the culture. It's, you know, you're a sucker if you get a job. How many times have you heard the words "fuck the police" in a song? How many times you see it on television?
Me, I don't listen to that kind of music.
You know, there was a story a couple weeks ago out of Florida of a kid who was burglarizing a home. The alarm went off. It notified the homeowner, who was a couple blocks away. She came home as he was coming out of the house. You have stand your ground, as we all have learned the stand your ground law in Florida over the last couple of years. He started to go at her. She shot and killed him. The family was on the news that night, essentially excusing his actions, saying, well, he needed those clothes. Who's going to buy his clothes if he didn't take them? This, that, and the other thing. And talking about how she shouldn't have shot him. Wait a minute. The legal homeowner who legally, and she did legally possess her weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It was her home that she bought and paid for, and everything inside was hers. You have a law that allows you to stand your ground, unlike other stupid states. And you're going to try to put the family's going to try to put the blame on the woman who is defending her home, and then you wonder why this is encouraged?
Yeah.
It's absolutely maddening to me.
Yeah, it's always somebody else's fault, Sean.
That's the problem. It's never
the shithead's fault.
Yes. And I was shocked. When I first saw that story pop up, I was waiting to see how soon before the president was on television. I really was. And it didn't happen. Why? Because all of a sudden his history came out really quick. I don't know who leaked this kid's criminal history to the media. It was all over the place. Boom, boom, boom. They've learned from Trayvon Martin and Freddie Gray and stuff like that. Don't come quick with the angel talk story. Find out who your victim, quote-unquote, victim is
right
before you turn him into a martyr.
Right.
Pardon me. But, yeah, I mean, all of a sudden you see even out of a lot of this leaders and Black Lives Matter, they're stepping back from jumping on these stories because a lot of these stories turn out to be bogus from the way that the media tells them. You go back to Trayvon Martin and the other guy. I can't even remember. That's
Michael Brown.
No. Trayvon Martin, the guy who shot him. I can't even remember his name. George Zimmerman.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought you were talking about Michael Brown, 'cause that was another big.
Right. Michael Brown was another big story. Ferguson.
Yep.
As well. So But you saw, in all of those instances, a lot of the stuff that was released by the press was doctored, right? Zimmerman, we remember NBC doctoring the 911 tape. They said edited for time, but leaving out certain sounds and things like that.
Yeah, they weren't reporting the facts. They were trying to push a particular agenda.
Ferguson, same thing, right? 3 days after the initial shooting in Ferguson, you had the video, the cell phone video of the street scene from the original day it happened. The body was still lying in the street, and they were videotaping because people were angry at how long it took them to clear the body out. Remember that whole... You're going to be mad because they did a thorough investigation? I'm sorry.
They should have covered the body.
Well, yeah, but that was...
They should have covered the body.
If they did just that, that would have been fine.
Yes.
But that wasn't their complaint.
Right.
Their complaint was how long it was in the street and why the police took so long. But you had, in that video, you had the two gentlemen standing off to the right describing exactly what had happened. And then that video disappeared quickly. I couldn't even find it on YouTube a week later when really Ferguson quite literally went ablaze. Right? It was gone.
Ferguson was gone?
Oh, the video.
Oh.
And then what happens, we go through the whole thing and you find out that the police officer did no wrongdoing, that it was completely perpetrated by the suspect who ended up dying and actually committed a robbery earlier in the afternoon.
And tried to get the cop's gun.
And tried to get the cop. All of that stuff
Yeah.
came out, and then all of a sudden, all these other stories. They had 98 witnesses or something like that, and 96 stories. The only 3 of them matched, or 2 of them matched what actually could have happened. The rest of them were ridiculous. And if you read some of the witness statements, and I did, I mean, literally one woman said that 5 cops showed up and shot and killed him. But they have to take her witness statement.
Right.
Right? It goes back to this kind of the no snitching mentality. A lot of those neighborhoods have the screw the police mentality until something bad happens. Right? You saw it when the poor 9-year-old was shot in Chicago and killed. Where were the police? Well, wait a minute. A month ago, you guys had a protest saying you don't want the police down here stopping everybody and arresting people. Look at Baltimore, month after it went ablaze. Why aren't the police doing anything?
Because you said you didn't want us to.
Because the last time we did, y'all threw rocks at us and broke kneecaps and all this other stuff. Because one guy died, we still don't know how it happened.
Right.
Oh, no, we know how it happened. You killed him. Well, I know how that robbery happened. You got robbed. Next. Right? This is the mentality. Don't snitch. How many times have you seen the Stop Snitching T-shirts?
Or the Warner Brothers.
Oh, the Warner Brothers.
Right.
And not Bugs Bunny. You see the police,
Right.
Warner Brother.
Yeah. I still think that one's funny.
I think it's a riot.
That one
actually
actually is pretty funny.
I actually want to buy that shirt.
I actually like that shirt a lot.
But, but the mentality of, and I hate to say it, but if you're going to kind of internally police your own neighborhoods, which a lot of neighborhoods, the Italians used to be amazing at it back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Weird.
Right? It's weird. But the police didn't have a lot to do in those neighborhoods. Maybe every couple weeks show up, deal with the dead body, and go away.
Right.
But
because they were Irish immigrants that were doing it.
Right. They were literally just dumped in the bay, and that was their investigation.
Right.
But if you want to move on and you want to actually start fixing your communities, then you have ownership in your communities.
And that means you have to partner with law enforcement.
Right. And when I see folks like Ken McClinton and Lonnie Poindexter who are out there just trying to make a change in the community and trying to make a change in society in general, and it's not getting the steam, you have all these people demanding change. And then when people finally step up and say, hey, we're going to make a change, we have ideas on how it can go, we have ideas on what we can do, everyone's like, oh, we'll have fun with that. Because we're going back to what we were doing the night before. Like, we were really angry when this person was shot, but now a couple weeks go by, we're not angry anymore. And we see that with society.
It's just kind of how it happens.
Right. And a lot of it's the 24-hour news cycle that we live in this world, right? Look at San Bernardino. If San Bernardino happened 15 years ago, even before 9/11, I'll say 17 years ago, if San Bernardino happened then, this country would have been purely outraged. People would have demanded answers. They would have demanded results. If you had that 9-year-old boy shot in the chest at point-blank range because his dad was a gang member, there would have been marches for him all over this country. And rightfully so.
Yes.
No 9-year-old should have their life extinguished by a thug with a gun or a knife or what.
By a thug, period.
Thug, period.
Because daddy's a thug.
Because daddy's a thug. Now we're in this 24-hour news cycle, Twitter, Facebook, all this other stuff. You have
what kind of mentality does somebody have to say, I don't like your daddy, so I'm going to kill this 9-year-old kid?
Monsters.
Right. That's my point.
Monsters.
That's my point. That's what we're up against.
Mm-hmm. And it's sad.
That's what we're dealing with. That's what communities that don't want to help the police, that want to stop snitching, that's what you're helping.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is, sadly. It's horrible.
Yet what drives me nuts is you have communities that might not want to help out with somebody that's capable of inflicting that kind of violence.
Mm-hmm.
But what do they do when they have a sexual predator in those communities?
Yeah.
You can kill a kid, but don't touch a kid.
Right. And that's the problem. And listen, I'd be okay with
Which,
it.
don't get me wrong, I'm okay with people protecting their own against, child molesters. But why?
We've seen that before.
Why? Yeah. Why are you really? You had drive-by shootings where stray bullets are killing
kids left and right.
infant kids, whatever, and nobody wants to say anything.
Right. And I can remember growing up on the East Coast, you'd have every once in a while a story of a kid that got killed, and like they put out hey, we're looking for this guy for it on the news, and the next thing you know, before the police got to him, the entire neighborhood's beating the hell out of the guy. They actually cared in every neighborhood, specifically in low income, because in a lot of low income neighborhoods back in the day, all they kind of had was each other, and they watched out for each other. And yeah, there was some rough kids in the neighborhood, but parents communicated with other parents, and they were friends, and there was a theory of family that was going on there that is since eliminated. Now it's just like, oh, well, I'm always told it's not my problem. Mind my own business. See something, say something. And I hate to say that maybe we need to get a little old school with some of this stuff, but we may need to get a little old school with some of this stuff.
I think you're starting to see the pendulum come back a little bit.
Yes.
The other direction now.
Yes.
Because I think you have some people that are actually getting a little tired of some of the stuff. They're calling it out. We have like a minute and a half before the next the next break. But I was actually reading up on something, and I knew this existed, but I didn't really. I don't know. Something this week made me look it up again, and I don't know why. But I want to go see this place. Have you ever heard of the Boot Monument?
No.
What? Not. It's not Canadian. It's not the What's This All About Monument.
Sorry, Cal Fritzy.
I'm not. That was funny.
Or one Canadian listener. And every week you do everything you can to drive her away.
I love Cal. We're an international show, apparently. But the Boot Monument, there you go, Cal's for you, is a monument to Benedict Arnold.
Maybe this is Canadian.
It's not. It's not Canadian. So at the Battle of Saratoga, Benedict Arnold had his horse shot out from under him, and he had his leg wounded. Basically, ended his fighting career. But he was single-handed. He is credited basically with single-handedly for rallying the troops and for the victory at Saratoga, which he didn't get credit for. The other douchebag general did at the time. We don't need to worry about his leg. But the reason that it's a monument of a boot is after the Revolution, obviously Benedict Arnold was a traitor. And so his name was, like, if you said his name, it was always in a negative term. Mm-hmm. They weren't going to be, they thought his victory was great. So there was something that they wanted to do for it, but they weren't going to erect a monument to him. So in 1887, this monument was built, and it was built to is in memory of, quote, the most brilliant soldier of the Continental Army who was desperately wounded on this spot. The the sally port of Burgoyne's Great Western Redoubt on 7th October 1777, winning for his countrymen the decisive battle of the American Revolution, and for himself the rank of Major General. So they still refused to refer to him by name.
Yeah.
Right. Even this is 1887. This is 110 years after the battle. Still.
If we could only remember his name.
Right.
God, what was it?
But here, so I was thinking, why the boot monument? And there's a story. There's a story that when Benedict Arnold was actually leading forces for the British after he switched sides, that he captured some patriots, and one of the prisoners, there was an officer, and Benedict Arnold asked him, what will the Americans do with me if they catch me? And this American officer said, they will cut off the leg which was wounded when you were fighting so gloriously for the cause of liberty, and bury it with the honors of war, and hang the rest of your body on a gibbet.
Hence the boot.
Hence the boot.
That's pretty awesome.
Right. So they built a monument to his leg.
That is actually...
Which is what happened. So 110 years later, somebody remembered this story. It was great. So anyways, I thought it was just an interesting bit of history. I know we're past break time right now. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Vlad the Putt-Putt.
On the way, right here and more on the Sackheads Radio Show, live in the SHR Media Network.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cough was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network. I'm looking for audio. I just don't have it. Dude.
You don't have it? Okay, we'll talk about Putin real quick. We talked about, I think it was last week during Freestyle, where we talked about how Putin might have been pulling out of Syria. Well,
maybe not.
They're moving more troops in now, maybe. Apparently, Putin faked left and juked right.
And the entire international community bit. Right. It was a Statue of Liberty play.
Right, which is weird because they don't believe in liberty.
Right.
Right.
So it was the Statue of the Hammer and Sickle play.
Right, or it was the Stalin play.
Stalin play.
Leningrad-ski.
We'll get him Stalin.
Right. Right, which they did.
Right, now he's Stalin.
Now he's Putin.
Oh, right.
I see what you did there. Anyways, I think that's. I just wanted to bring that up. So we are pulling out. Watch this.
Hey guys, we've had a lot of fun bombing your people, but now it's time for us to go home.
Look, I'm going to go home, but first I sell you car. Look, it's good car. I have 2013 model, 2015 model. Put them together, 2014 model. It's good car.
No, guys, we're really not leaving. Go ahead and
take the car.
No, stay packing up. No, guys, we're not leaving. We talked about this in the meeting. We're going to stay here and kill as many people as we can because we're Russians.
Right, we're packing up, but we're not packing up for real. We're packing up for, it's kind of like a moon mission. We're like putting moon rocks. Just think of it this way.
Agador says, Clint, Syria didn't want Putin to pull out. It begged him to stay in. Come on, you know how that is.
I do know how that is. Actually.
19 kids later.
Yeah. That's chapter 8,
That's
Sean.
Chapter 8.
That's
going to be the title of chapter 8. Clint's new book, Take It From Me.
Take It From Me. What could possibly happen?
Subtitle, What Could Possibly Go Wrong by Sackhead Clint. Chapter 8.
She begged me to stay in.
Syria didn't want Putin to pull out, so it begged him to stay in.
I know how that is.
I know how that is. Oh. So I was looking.
And it's going to start with, so I was at my desk one day.
Yeah.
The phone rings.
I may have to write like an off chapter for that, so I can tell my side of that story.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If I write a book about my life, first of all, people wouldn't believe it. But then if you wrote a like a study guide from a third-party observer, our best conversations are, Sean, I need your opinion about something. Well, I already did something, but I needed to run it by you anyways.
I want to come back to you and just see what you would have told me to do. Yeah, I did the exact opposite.
Yeah. Okay, good point. That explains why this.
So during the break, I was searching for Black Sheep Squadron.
Right, and there's a reason for this.
There's a reason for this. I was trying to get a sound clip of the opposing major, and I can't remember his name.
The Japanese pilot.
Right, that every time they get into a conflict.
Well, hang on. First of all, you have to set the scene. So we're talking about North Korea.
Right, because I want to talk about North Korea doing some more bonehead stuff.
Right, and then the quote came out from. Right, but the quote came out from this pilot, and it used to be in the episodes of Baba Black Sheep when this Japanese pilot would hail Colonel Boyington on the radio, and he would say, Boyington. And they'd talk. And so we wanted to find the audio so that even though we understand that that's a Japanese pilot and we're talking about Koreans.
It just would have been funny.
It's still funny because it's politically incorrect and we don't give a shit.
Right, exactly.
Because I don't care who you are, it's funny. And if you're too sensitive, then you go fuck yourself.
So, anywho.
I love how our audience, if we ever took 100% of the profanity out of our show, we would lose so many listeners.
Oh, God, we need to be on Sirius. Anyhow.
Seriously.
Seriously.
We would lose. How many listeners do we get that was just like, you guys are hilarious?
It's because of what we say.
But because of what we say.
And even people that don't agree with us politically listen because of the batshit crazy stuff.
Right.
we say.
Folks, we're selling a product. We are not complete
Golf
assholes.
Dogs in the chat room earlier thought we should just name the show Batshit Crazy. And I said the only problem with that is it's hard to market.
It is. It is. It is. We could do Sackheads Radio, a batshit crazy good time. Like that could be a tagline.
So anyhow, earlier this
Two
week,
wild
North
and
Korea,
crazy guys.
Two wild
batshit
and
crazy guys.
North Korea threatened China with a nuclear storm.
Oh, good.
It doesn't really matter why at the end of the day because it's North Korea, and I could read you the whole story and explain. But, you're losing your last friends when you're North Korea.
Right.
And then
You
all of a
kind of
sudden,
need their help.
the people who kind of deal with you, you're like, oh, yeah, by the way, we'll bomb the shit out of you. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, if you don't give us what I want, nuclear winter.
Right.
And it's just so crazy because who?
Imperial Japanese Navy Captain Tomio Harachi.
Atta
Played
boy.
by Byron Chung.
That a boy, good job.
Boyington.
Boyington. So freaking great. Hey, I got to throw a shout out to White Mamba, who's always in our chat room. He's working tonight, but he's listening on his phone from his cab, listening to us live on Spreaker from the phone. You want to talk about a guy who's dedicated?
Oh, yeah. I want to know how many of your fares actually...
I hope he's streaming through the speakers, so his fares are listening as well.
Right.
So if you're in Mamba's cab right now, we bid you hello.
Hello?
Watch your ass.
Yes.
Because wherever you are, you should always watch your ass.
Right. Not with a mirror, but like
just be careful.
Be careful.
You better tip the hell out of Mamba.
Yes.
He's a solid dude.
Absolutely.
And listen to the Sackheads radio show, shrmedia.com, every Wednesday night. You know how some cabs, when you get in now, there's like the welcome message that plays?
Right.
I think Mamba needs to record that and play it.
I think we need to record a welcome message for Mamba that he can play in his cab.
If he will tweet me and tell me if he will actually play that or if he has control over that.
Yeah, we will stay after tonight and record that, and then Sean will work out where to send that to you, and we can send you a welcome from us, and we can do a clean version and a dirty version.
That would be amazing. I would just I think all dirty version. I think that's what people.
We can do both because what if he gets somebody? What if there's like some religious convention in town?
Yes.
Right. We don't want to do that.
Okay, fine.
Right. We'll do a clean and then it's up to him to pick the proper version to play. We accept no liability in this decision.
That would be awesome. Welcome, Pastor. I do have a welcome message. Son of a bitch, you're in Mamba's cab. Whoa, hit play.
No, it is play. I mean, stop. I mean, pause. Salad tossing competition. Mamba loves it. Oh, that's nice, Mamba. I'm a chef also. Yes, sister. That's what I meant.
Yeah. You can't write this shit. But we would if Mamba wanted us to.
Absolutely.
For a fee of $50. The clean version is very extra. It costs a lot more to get a clean version.
Because that takes a lot of tapes.
Dude, you know how many times, I kid you not, we were recording a commercial last year. I don't even remember which commercial it was or who it was for, but we were recording a commercial last year. And us trying not to curse on
I
this
remember
commercial.
that.
And Saka wasn't here, so I'm trying to work the board. We actually scripted a commercial for once. And it wasn't the screw-ups that was bad, because a couple times, like, you'd get 3/4 of the way through your line and barely mess up a word, and it could have been fine. You could have kept going, and I could have just clipped it. But then you throw in and listen to us. Shit! Damn it! we got to do it again. And I'm like, no. You could have just gone on, and I could have edited that really quickly. So, oh man. Finally, let's wrap up the show by pissing off all of our listeners.
Trump or Cruz? Ready, go. We're not going to talk about Clinton losing.
Yeah. I actually think that's the biggest story.
There, we just talked about it. Now, Hillary, real quick. The FBI is nearing the end of the investigation, and they're going to come a time where they're going to ask her to interview, right? She's pretty much in a damned if you do, damned if you don't position there.
Oh, yeah.
Because if she goes in, she's told so many lies publicly that she's hosed. And if she doesn't go in, with the amount of times she's bullshitted and said that she really can't wait to talk to the FBI, which everybody knows is BS.
Right, I can't wait.
Then clearly that's a problem. So she's screwed. Now, that being said, she lost.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And you know, that was going to be kind of a coin toss, I thought, going into it. And all of a sudden, she really tanked in that. And you're starting to see Bernie pick up a lot more speed than I think anyone thought they could.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a great video. There's a great meme online right now of Bernie Sanders driving his Audi like A80, which is a $120,000 car, and it said, you know, I know how the poor people feel. I'm one of them, which is pretty damn funny. But
well, no, because he's going to sell that car
for the poor people.
For the poor people, and because everybody equal stuff, right? Not equal opportunity.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm sure that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to me. And then finally, so you have, Ken in the chat room says that her husband's going to represent her, and maybe I think Huma has the skills to pull that off.
Wasn't he disbarred?
Oh, Bill, right. I keep
not Huma. Bill. I thought wasn't Bill disbarred for lying? That whole lying thing.
Oh yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. So if he's been barred from the bar,
Hillary is represented. She
has an attorney.
Ron. Yeah, it's David Gregory from NBC's wife. That's her attorney. So there's no.
It's her attorney.
There's no conflict of interest there with David Gregory and NBC or anything like that.
No, why
whatsoever?
No, it's fine. Be fine.
And of course we would talk about Cruz and Trump, the Republican side. Cruz obviously winning Wisconsin.
I saw last night Reince Priebus made a comment. Hannity asked him, "Hey, is so Cruz and Trump are going to go in if this is contested? Cruz and Trump are going to go in as the top vote getters. Is it going to be one of them that gets the nomination?" And Reince Priebus said it's going to be somebody who's running for president. And Sean Hannity said, "Wait a second. Kasich is also running, but he's so far behind. He's won one state. Are you telling me that he might get the nomination? He hasn't won 8 states. He doesn't meet that rule." And Rance wouldn't commit. He goes, "So what would you sit here and say it's going to be Trump or Cruz?" And he said, I'm not going to tell you that, Sean. Not when we have 3 people in the race. You know, it's going to be somebody who's running for president, and that's all he would say.
Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. And listen, I've said before, I don't care if Cruz is up by a point when they go into the convention or vote. I don't care if Trump's up by a vote when they go into the convention. If one of them is truly leading going into the convention, then that should be the nominee. Whether you want him to be or not, that should be, and that's how the process should work. I still think they're using the whole contested or open convention, as they're calling it now, to try to scare people away from Trump towards Cruz. I really do, because I think that the GOP hates Trump that bad that they're trying to push that narrative.
Look, I heard the Republicans are straight up saying they're going to lose. I heard there's some people in the Republican Party that are just saying, "Yeah, we're going to lose this election."
Yeah,
like people in the know, and I think they're saying that because I wonder if Trump is the nominee, if the Republican Party is going to run a different candidate, and if Trump is not the nominee and Trump feels slighted by the party, then he's going to run third party, and guess what? Republicans are going to lose. if the Republicans don't come together, they're going to lose this election. But I really don't think the establishment cares.
And Golf pointed it out in the chat.
I really don't.
He thinks neither one of them will be a nominee. And you know what? I can't say that that's out of the realm of possibility. I wish it was out of the realm of possibility.
It's not under the realm of it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Right.
It would be stupid for the party to not have one of those two guys.
Yeah.
And it would be stupid for whoever, either Trump or Cruz, if one of them gets it, for the other one not to support that party. It really would. It would be stupid for Trump if Trump believes everything he says about the Republican Party and about the direction the company goes and about there's no way Hillary Clinton should be president and the reason he's running is because he cares for this country. If he really believes that, then whoever the nominee is, if it's not him, he should get behind him.
Right.
If Trump runs third party, then obviously everything he said regarding that is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, screw him.
Yeah. This is
and same with Cruz. Right? If he really believes Hillary should not be president and Trump gets the nomination, and if the Republicans really believe Hillary is the worst thing that can happen to this country, which I think she is, then they need to get behind whoever it is. You may think Trump is the worst thing to happen to the party, but don't we want to save the country? You can save the party. You can reshape the party. You can have Trump come into the party and have a hand in what the party is going to look like from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can fight it tooth and nail, have the downfall of our country, Hillary will get elected, and your party will fail.
Right.
It will fail. If that happens, the Republican Party will be done, and we will see the emergence of a new party, I believe. I firmly believe that. The Republican Party will never be what it was.
Well, and good comment out of the chat by Golf Dogs. It's going to be the elite party versus we the people.
Yeah.
I think that's very true.
And the elite party is going to lose.
Yep. And
that party will cease to exist.
And the sad part is we gave it away, if you will.
We didn't give anything away. We know where we stand.
We as a party.
Right.
We gave it away because we were warned against the two-party system in this country.
Yep, by George Washington.
And we allowed it. And then when we kind of had control and it was still semi-realistic, we allowed it to get even more perverted and destroyed. And now we're at politics where we are now. And whether you like or dislike a Donald Trump, the reason Donald Trump is popular, and I'll say this right now, is because people are sick of the politicians being politicians and just doing nothing and all these shady backroom deals. And I'm not saying that Trump won't make these, but
Trump is not a politician.
He's not a politician, and that alone,
that's why he's doing as well as he is.
Is why he's doing as well as he is.
Yeah.
There are people who've never heard him speak on a lot of things, and have only read a few things here and there, who are huge Trump supporters because he's not a politician.
Right.
And you know what? He's not a traditional politician. He's a politician now.
He's not. I don't think he's not. He's running for president now. He is not a politician yet. If he were a politician, he wouldn't be doing and saying half the stuff he does and says.
Well, yeah, right, for good and bad, if you will.
Right. Good, bad, or right, wrong, or indifferent, whatever your view of it is, doesn't matter. If he were a true politician, he wouldn't be doing the shit he does or saying the stuff. He wouldn't.
Right.
There's no way. So he is not a politician yet. He is in that political arena. He's stepping into that political arena. He's running for president. He's not a politician.
Well, like I said, it's just it's we're down this road, and this country has allowed it to go down this road. Conservatives have allowed the Republican Party to be run by a core group instead of listening to the
Democrats and the Democrats have allowed the radical
constituency. I don't know why I say contingency.
The radical communists. Mm-hmm. Socialist to really infect and take over the Democratic Party.
And Sunday night, right here on SHR Media,
I think that we should have a third party formed and take all the Blue Dog Democrats and all the We the People conservatives,
yeah,
and leave the libtards and the elite Republicans to their own devices and form a third party that'll be stronger than the Democrats and the Republicans.
Well, and Sunday night, this conversation will expand on High Play Pundits Radio with Agador
right now.
And old number 2 Dan Butcher. We'll be discussing very specifically whether or not the Republican and Democrat Party are obsolete. And I have to say, I think it is. I really do at this point think that both parties are now obsolete, as they are no longer serving their constituents in the manner that
Can
they
we
should
fire
be.
the parties?
Yeah, we can just take the money away. Stop giving it to them.
Right. So I think that we should go back to, hey, no party affiliations. Everybody, whoever wants to run for president, everybody runs for president. You don't run for president and vice president. You run for president.
Right.
And top vote getter is president. Number 2 is vice president.
Yeah. And
that's my thought.
Yeah. I do. I really think
Let's go old school.
I agree. I think it's a great idea because the two parties now have gone the way of Orange Julius.
I love Orange Julius.
They used to be awesome in the malls. Now you can't find them anywhere.
I love Orange Julius. Now I want Orange Julius. Are you kidding me? Why would you bring that up right now? It is 9:56 and 40 seconds. There is no way I'm going to find an Orange Julius or anything remotely like it.
I know. Orange Julius kicked ass.
The strawberry Juliuses were delicious.
Yes, strawberry Julius was my favorite.
Mine too.
Absolutely.
Really?
Awesome.
Why would you bring this up right now, Sean?
Hey, I got to give a shout out to if you're in the greater Jacksonville, Orlando, or Tampa area, and you need a cab right now.
Right now.
Call 352-575-0355.
Give that number again.
352-575-0355. Or 374-8484. Same area code, 352. And get your ass in the cab right now. The cab that's approved by the Sackheads radio show. That is the cab of White Mamba. Can we get him a bumper sticker that says Sackheads approved?
Sackhead approved?
Would you put it on?
Can we get a picture of White Mamba's cab?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, well, let me see it.
It's on my Twitter right now.
Is that the inside or the outside?
That's
I
the
can't
outside.
see that far.
That's the outside. We need the inside, and he wants us to do the recording.
Okay. We'll do it right after the show.
Good friend of the show. We love him. Help him out. Give him some money, baby.
Literally right after the show, we will do a recording and send. Do you have a contact to send it
He's
to
going
him?
to email it to us.
All right.
So-
My email's down, has been down for
I know.
months. If
I
you've
already sent
emailed
him
me
the right one.
And I don't respond, it's not because I don't respond like I usually don't respond. It's because my email's down.
It's not like I ignore you like usual.
Like usually, it's
I'm
actually
ignoring
down
you in a
this-
much different manner.
Right. I'm ignoring you not on purpose right now, just so you know. What?
Oh, man. Maybe you have a business that you want to get the word out about.
What is this picture?
Contact
Are you kidding me?
sackheadsradio@gmail.com. And if we like you and or your product, maybe we can do business. Or maybe I'll just give you a free shout out in the air because you're a cool person.
Like POF rifles.
But you have to prove it.
Official rifle, Sackheads Radio.
Yeah.
I want a picture like that.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, folks, that's it here from the Sackheads Radio Show.
We have a commercial to record.
Live at the SHR Media Network.
For White Mamba.
Studios. We'll see you next Wednesday at 11 on the East Coast, 8 on the West Coast. Make sure you check out all the great shows on SHR Media. The Unpleasant Blind Guy, The Exceptional Conservative, High Play, Pundits Radio. Sunday night is the Democrats and the Republican obsolete. Jersey Joe in the morning, and in the afternoon, of course, the exceptional one himself, Kenneth McClinton. Check them all out and go to shrmedia.com just because. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Good night, America.
Good night, America.
You sounded like Putin.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Hack news. Hack news.
Radio.
Hack news. Hack news.
Radio.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.